Hello, and welcome to the McTaggart Attack podcast. I'm Kevin McTaggart. Thank you so much for downloading the podcast today. I really appreciate it. Please be sure to subscribe, review, and share the podcast because that helps my numbers out and that gets my podcast more popular. And because I'll be honest, there are times when I think about not doing the podcast anymore because it it it's become more of a hindrance, I think, sometimes. But then people tell me that they like my podcast and I do it for them. But shouldn't I really be doing it for myself? But then I think it all goes to my topic for today's podcast, actually. And uh, that topic is patience. You know, having patience. And no, I'm not talking about the hospital, doctor, nurse, healthcare kind of patience. I'm talking about having the patience to wait for stuff. Anything. Waiting for anything. Waiting for, any type of results. Um, I feel like patience is a problem, or I feel like there's a general lack of patience in society. Like, we want stuff now. We just don't want stuff now. We want stuff like yesterday. We want stuff already. We want it. We do something and we want the results immediately. We're all about instant results. We're all about instant everything. We're all about instant gratification. And we shouldn't be. We should just we want everything so fucking quickly that it's like we expect it much sooner than it's supposed to happen, and we want the fucking results. We want the reward, but we don't give a shit about what it takes to get the reward because we're too fucking impatient to go through the whole fucking process to get that damn reward. You know? Like, getting this idea, I'm talking about this because I listen to the Gary V podcast almost every day. And having patience is one thing that he talks about. And I'm like, yeah, I don't have any patience, which is why I tell you guys at the beginning, please subscribe, share, and review, because that's a tip that I read about getting more podcast downloads, getting your podcast more popular. And that's what I want. I want my podcast popular yesterday. That's what's fucking wrong with me. I want my podcast famous now. I want to be famous now. I want to be the best now. I want to be the best comedian now. No, not even now. I want all that shit yesterday. That's what I fucking want. Like, when I put a tweet out, I want 55,000 likes with that tweet, or with that Instagram post, or with that TikTok video, or YouTube, or whatever. I want it right away. I can't stand when I post something and see that it gets no or little reaction when I think it should get a lot of reaction. And it pisses me off when that happens. And then it pisses me off that I'm expecting that. I hate when I check how many downloads my damn podcast gets because I'm so fucking impatient and I want my podcast famous yesterday. You know? I became a comedian and I wanted to become famous, right away. I thought, oh, I'm a comedian now. People will think I'm great. No, it doesn't fucking work that way. It doesn't fucking work that way. There's a process involved, and you have to be patient, and you have to, I hate being patient, but I have to be patient. I have to start enjoying being patient. I have to start cherishing the fact that things take time. I remember when I was a kid at Christmas, like the weeks leading up to Christmas, I always had this feeling of anticipation and couldn't fucking wait for the goddamn presents. I was so fucking impatient. There were some Christmases when I went and looked for the fucking presents and found them all, but then had to wait for them to get them on December 25th. Like, I begged and pleaded to get presents before Christmas, which was so fucking stupid. But it's like, I still now at 43 need to learn patience, I still get that anticipation feeling. Like when changes are happening at work, or if I think changes are going to happen at work, I dread the anticipation. I dread the impatience that I'm going to be fucking feeling. So I try not to feel, or I try to acknowledge those feelings so it doesn't feel as bad when it actually happens. I'm not saying I won't have those feelings of impatience or anticipation or whatever, but I won't let them dominate my body. Won't let them dominate my life. At least I hope not. And I think it has to do with doing things for the right reason, because I've thought a lot about why I want to do my podcast, and mostly, honestly, the big reason why I wanted to do my podcast was to get famous. That's all. Stupid fucking reason. And it's like, I want my podcast to give some value to you guys. That should be the real reason, and that is the real reason. That I want that to be the real reason now. And I've wanted that, and I understand that. I want people to enjoy listening to my podcast. I want people to enjoy listening to my stand-up comedy and watching my stand-up comedy. I get a lot of compliments whenever I do stand-up, and I like to do it. And I have to just keep grinding at that, and I have to keep grinding at podcasting, and merge the two together. I mean, I want them merged together, and I started some YouTube videos yesterday, or this past weekend. I don't know what the fuck that was about. I might not do a lot of those. I said it's daily. It may not be daily. I should just change the name of that, because that put too much pressure on myself to have, patience for that. I mean, I'm already doing a podcast every 3 days a week. Maybe I'll just do the videos the other 2 days during the work week. I don't know. I'm not sure. I know where I want to get, and it's just so fucking frustrating that I have to be patient and keep working hard. That's what I need. That's what you need to be successful, is to work hard and have patience. I think that's it. And be grateful for whatever's happening. Have patience, be grateful, work hard. That's really all it is. But mostly this podcast is about patience, and how much having patience absolutely fucking sucks. Or not having patience absolutely fucking sucks. I said that wrong, or did I? I don't even know. It just stinks that not have patience, and I wish that I had more patience, and I'm going to try and have more patience. I'm going to try and stop having that awful feeling of impatience or anticipation or whatever the fuck it is. And I just need to go through the process of it all and just enjoy every fucking day for its fucking finest, and just try to live my life as happy and optimistically as I fucking can. And I sound so much different than I used to. I don't even know, but but the point of the podcast, this episode of my McTaggart Attack podcast today, is just to talk about patience and how we all need to have more patience. I think we'd all be better off if we all had like more patience and didn't and the anticipation of things, you know, because I think anticipation and patience go hand in hand, and we just have to be more patient. No more like instant gratification bullshit, you know. Do what you think you should do, and just do it for the right reasons. The right reasons is not to get famous. It can be a reason. But for me, I want to just try to help people or entertain people. You know, hopefully some of my podcasts, when I rant about stuff, it makes people laugh. And that's great. And if that's all that happens, that's great. But yeah, and sometimes I talk about stuff about way too personal. And I don't know if people find value from that. I hope that they do. But I have to say, I do think this podcast takes away from what I really want to do. And what I really want to do is stand-up comedy. And I will say I am kind of tired of doing the podcast. And it's great that people like it, but I don't know if I'm going to be doing it for much longer. Or if I might take a break. But I'm not sure about that yet. If you're listening to this podcast, give me a reason to keep doing it. Or give me suggestions on how to fucking fix it. Because I don't know if I want to fucking do it anymore. Why? Because I want to be good at stand-up comedy, and I feel like the podcast takes away from that. Takes away my time from stand-up comedy. I feel like I've put too much in several different fucking baskets, and I need to focus more on my stand-up than I do with my podcasts. And I want to try to do my podcast and stand-up and do them like together to help each other, but it's like I hate fucking talking about my podcast sometimes, and it's just frustrating, and I don't want to have to keep doing my podcast because other people want me to do it. I want to do my fucking podcast because I want to fucking do it. And I'm just not sure I want to fucking do it anymore. And that's an awful way to end a podcast, but that's the bottom fucking line if you smell what the McTaggart Attack podcast is cooking. Thank you for listening to this podcast, which may be one of the last ones. I don't fucking know. But please share and review and subscribe or something. And thank you for listening. Email mctaggartattack@gmail.com. Follow me on Twitter at KevMcT. Follow me on Instagram at McTaggart Attack. Follow me on TikTok at McTaggart Attack. And follow me on LinkedIn. And find the Facebook page for the McTaggart Attack podcast as well.